The Lean Startup Summary. Build smarter, not harder. Eric Ries. Audiobook. What if the reason you're failing isn't because your idea is bad, but because you're building something nobody actually wants? What if hard work, long hours, and passion are quietly leading you in the wrong direction without you even realizing it? And what if success doesn't come from working harder, but from learning faster? Pause for a moment, because this idea alone has changed how modern businesses are built. The book The Lean Startup by Eric Ries is one of the most influential business books of the modern era. It reshaped how startups, entrepreneurs, and even large companies approach building products. Before this book, most people believed success came from having a great idea, building it fully, and then launching it to the world. But the reality was harsh. Most startups failed, not because they lacked effort, but because they built something nobody needed. This book solves a painful problem. It helps you avoid wasting time, money, and energy on ideas that won't work. It teaches you how to test your ideas early, adapt quickly, and grow smarter instead of blindly pushing forward. If you've ever felt stuck, unsure whether your idea will succeed, or afraid of failure, this book speaks directly to you. The first core idea is simple but powerful. Build, measure, learn. Instead of spending months or years building the perfect product, you start small. You build a basic version. Then you measure how people respond. Then you learn from that feedback. And then you repeat. Build, measure, learn. Again and again. Most people do the opposite. They build everything first and only measure at the end. But by then, it's too late. The real goal is not to build a product. The real goal is to learn what works. Not to create, but to discover. Think about it like this. Imagine opening a restaurant. Instead of designing a huge menu and investing everything up front, you start with just 1 or 2 dishes. You watch how people react. You adjust quickly. This approach reduces risk. It replaces guessing with learning. And that's the key message here. Success comes from learning faster than others. The second lesson is the concept of the minimum viable product, or MVP. An MVP is the simplest version of your idea that allows you to test it. Not perfect, not complete, just enough to learn. This is important because most people wait too long. They want everything to be polished. They want perfection. But perfection delays feedback, and delayed feedback leads to failure. The MVP forces you to face reality early. Instead of asking, "Do I think this will work?" you ask, "Do real people actually want this?" That shift is everything. For example, instead of building a full app, you might create a simple prototype. Instead of launching a full business, you test a small version. The goal is not to impress people. The goal is to test assumptions. And again, this idea repeats. Test early, test small, learn fast. The third lesson is validated learning. Not all learning is equal. Thinking is not learning. Planning is not learning. Only real-world results count. Validated learning means you use real data to prove whether your idea works, not opinions, not guesses, not feelings. Data. For example, instead of saying, "I think customers like this," you measure actual behavior. Do they sign up? Do they buy? Do they return? This kind of learning removes illusions. It replaces belief with evidence. And here's the truth most people ignore. You are often wrong about your own idea. Validated learning protects you from that. It keeps you grounded. It forces you to face reality. And this is why many businesses fail, because they never validate. They assume, they hope, but they don't test. The fourth lesson is pivot or persevere. At some point, you will face a decision. Do you keep going or do you change direction? This is called a pivot. A pivot is not failure. It's a smart adjustment. It means you've learned something important and you're using that knowledge to improve. Most people resist this. They stick to their original idea, even when it's not working. Why? Because of ego, because of attachment, because they don't want to admit they were wrong. But successful people do the opposite. They adapt, they change, they evolve. They understand that the goal is not to prove yourself right, but to succeed. So again, the message repeats. If it works, keep going. If it doesn't, change direction, and do it quickly. The fifth lesson is innovation accounting. This sounds complex, but it's simple. It means tracking progress in a meaningful way. Not vanity metrics like views or downloads, but real indicators of growth. Are users staying? Are they engaging? Are they coming back? These are the numbers that matter. Because growth is not about activity, it's about results. Many people stay busy but go nowhere. Innovation accounting helps you stay focused on what truly matters. It shows whether you're moving forward or just spinning in circles. Now, let's bring this into your life. If you apply this today, you stop chasing perfection. You start testing. Instead of waiting for the right time, you begin now with what you have. Most people ignore this, but starting small is a strength, not a weakness. If you have an idea, don't build everything. Create a simple version. Show it to real people. Watch what they do. Not what they say, but what they do. This is where real change begins. You also shift your mindset. You stop fearing failure, because every failure becomes information. Every mistake becomes progress. You're no longer trying to be perfect. You're trying to learn faster than everyone else. And that changes everything. You become flexible. You become adaptive. You stop wasting time on things that don't work, and you focus only on what it does. That's the power of this approach. The biggest takeaway from this book is simple. Success doesn't come from having the best idea. It comes from learning the fastest. Build small, test early, adapt quickly. If you remember nothing else, remember this cycle. Build, measure, learn. Repeat it, and you will move forward. Ignore it, and you risk going nowhere. If this summary helped you, subscribe to daily audiobook summaries. And next, listen to our summary of Atomic Habits to learn how small actions can create massive results over time. Stay focused, stay patient, and keep learning.